Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon. My name is Faraz Patel. We'd like to thank you, the viewer, for staying with us here on News in Focus. We are coming to you from Hilaal TV, DSTV channel 347. We, of course, start with stories from Gaza. And in a statement, Gaza's government media office said prescription painkiller oxycodone was found by Palestinians inside flour bags they received from the US-run aid distribution points in Gaza, also known as the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. The media office has held Israel fully responsible for what they term the heinous crime aimed at spreading addiction and destroying the Palestinian social fabric from within. Now, this comes as aid continues to be denied at the various border points from Kir Shalom and that of the Rafah border post, as the genocide in Gaza shows no signs of stopping. Joining me now via Zoom from Cairo in Egypt, I'd like to welcome the spokesperson for the World Food Programme for the Middle East, Abeer Etefa. Abeer, assalamu alaikum, and shukran so much for making the time for us here on News in Focus on Hilaal TV.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for having me on behalf of the World Food Programme.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Abeer, I think before we talk about, obviously, the statement from the Palestinian Health Ministry, it's very frustrating, isn't it, for the World Food Programme at this very moment, given that with these border posts being closed, with these lack of aid getting into Gaza, we see what is happening, the starvation, the famine. It is really on a level that we have never seen before in the modern world.
Well, it's been very difficult the last year and a half. I think it's been constant trial of ensuring that we get the food that people need. We've taken a lot of risks. I think it's been a challenge for the teams on the ground, and it's been very touching at every level on how you have food supplies on the different border crossing points, but you're unable to push this. And let me give you a bit of a picture on what has been happening recently. So since there has been limited resumption of aid entering into Gaza since 19 May, but WFP has only been able to move small amounts of food inside Gaza. The safe operating conditions are essential so that food can reach families consistently, fairly, and safely, wherever they are across the Gaza Strip. So it's not just getting food to Kerem Shalom, it's from Kerem Shalom inside Gaza Strip to get to every vulnerable person in a safe, dignified, and a fair manner. So it's been very difficult.
Yeah, Abeer, I mean, I've been seeing videos of the World Food Programme on various social media platforms, and it is very difficult. Very little food. And of course, that little food cannot sustain the millions of people that are still within the Gaza Strip within a very small, limited time. It makes the work very difficult, doesn't it, for the volunteers, for the representatives of WFP to really get a sufficient amount of food to the people living there.
Yes, I mean, it's been a constant struggle, and we have everything that allows us to deliver at scale. We've had, we have food prepositioned, we have logistics capacity, we have the best experienced teams on the ground that have worked in many emergencies across the world. We have the know-how, and we have history of working in Gaza. We've been working in Gaza for almost close to 40 or 50 years. So we've been in Gaza for a long time. But, and we've demonstrated the operational capacity to deliver food supplies in the first ceasefire. We've delivered, and we've met the need of the Palestinian people in Gaza. But the fear of starvation and desperate needs, in Gaza is extreme. I mean, it's like it's very high. The fear of starvation, the desperate needs of a population that's on the edge of famine. And the food aid is the only way for people to eat. It's not a luxury. It's not like the markets are operating. It's at the moment, flour for bread is 3,000 times more expensive than before the war. 23 euros per kilo of flour, if it is available in the market. There is very little that is still in the market as we speak.
Now, I was speaking to somebody on Tuesday from Deir al-Balah, and he said $30. And of course, inflation is very high in Gaza, given, of course, the state of the genocide that is happening there. Abeer, I want to take you to the statement that was released by the Gaza government media office. Now, I had spoken to Al Mizan, and they had said that, of course, there wasn't real out-and-out verification, but what we're seeing from many voices on the ground, this oxycodone, these pills that are being found in the flour bag. I just wanted to ask, is this something that has been brought to the World Food Programme's attention? And if so, how are they dealing with it, whether it's founded or not founded at this time?
I think on our food supplies, we know we have repeatedly, requested access to Gaza, border crossing points to monitor and to track our cargo as it's screened before entering Gaza. And this has never been permitted. Authorities control the entire process. All our cargo entering and moving across Gaza is coordinated with the Israeli authorities, including convoy inspections and movements. And the Israeli authorities have all the information about UN convoy movements, the types of food aid, cargo, transport routes, loading requirements, and the final destination.
Abeer, I want to touch on baby formula. What we're looking at right now is that without any baby formula, babies are at risk at this very moment of unfortunately losing their lives. It is a sad situation, and the children of Gaza have borne the brunt of this genocide more than anyone else. How important is it that not only is a ceasefire achieved to allow this baby formula to get in, but also this continuous supply of it, given that many children, especially babies, are really suffering right now, and a baby formula is needed for them at this time?
Of course, I think it is essential to get a baby formula, nutrition supplements, because I think children and the elderly are taking the brunt of this vicious war. Sister agencies like UNICEF have been trying to get formula and to get all kind of nutrition supplements for children. We have been trying to get also nutrition products to help malnutrition. So it's been a struggle. I think everything is missing in Gaza. Health, supplies, food supplies, nutrition and baby formula. Nothing is available in Gaza, and very little gets in. And in the middle of the, unbelievable needs, it's very difficult to hold distributions in orderly and in a dignified manner. And therefore, usually, what happens is that the most vulnerable, the weakest of the weak, will always be left behind. If we continue with this system where people are not reassured that humanitarian supplies are coming constantly and at large scale and at the right level.
Abeer, many charity organizations, many NGOs have called for this Gaza Humanitarian Foundation to be shut down, given that a lot of mass killings are occurring at these points where aid is being distributed. I want to get the World Food Programme's take on this, because when listening to experts, when listening to human rights organizations, they're saying quite well that this GHF needs to be taken away, and the only organization that needs to be assisting with food distribution and aid is the World Food Programme. So what's the WFP's take on the way the GHF, I beg your pardon, has conducted itself over this last few weeks?
First of all, we have the capacity to meet all the needs in Gaza. We're ready. We have the logistics, the expertise. We have some food supplies. We just need the right operating conditions. We need safety and security. We need certain conditions. We need to be allowed to deliver at scale. We need at least 100 trucks every day to be able to reach the people. So that is the important thing to remember. And we've been working in Gaza for a long time. We know the community. We have partners on the ground. But having said that, we will talk to everybody and anybody to help feed families and the most vulnerable populations at scale, safely, fairly, and effectively. We're committing to deliver life-saving assistance with the trust of the communities and the most vulnerable families that we serve. The humanitarian principles of humanity, impartiality, neutrality, and operational independence always guide WFP's work, and they are the bedrock of the trust-based relationship that we have with these communities. And we will not abandon these cardinal principles. So if there is any partner that will commit with us to these humanitarian principles, we will join hands. At the moment, we're not operational with the GHF.
I know I just need 1 minute from you, Abeer. One last question. A ceasefire, I don't want to get into the politics of it, but it's important now more than ever, isn't it, Abeer?
Absolutely. I think the only solution, long-lasting solution to the hunger and starvation crisis in Gaza is a ceasefire. People have been worn out. They have already dealt with over 18 months of deprivation, and the only way to reach this is through a political settlement that respects the dignity and allow aid agencies to provide life-saving assistance in a safe and secure manner.
Abeer, absolute pleasure having you on. Shukran so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much.
That's Abeer Etefa. She is the World Food Programme spokesperson for the Middle East. Now we're going to be staying with Gaza. I'm going to be talking to no stranger to News in Focus and Hilaal TV, Afa Neman, a report from UN Special Rapporteur in the occupied Palestinian territory, Dr. Francesca Albanese, of a number of tech companies that they have found to be complicit in the genocide in Gaza. Do stay tuned for that.